Hi, my name is Mike. I'm the voice of Jodio Joestar in the JOJOLands FANDUB project. This is going to be a retrospective on how we created Volume 1 of our FANDUB series featuring our cast. If you haven't seen Chapters 1, 2, 3, and 4 yet, I suggest you do that first, and then come back here to see... I'm sorry guys. If you haven't seen Chapters 1, 2, 3, and 4 yet, I suggest you do that first, and then come back to hear how we did it all. Also, spoilers ahead for those who haven't read up to Chapter 24... Oh, fuck, I'm sorry, guys. We can probably edit around this, right?
Yeah, we can, yeah.
Okay. Also, spoilers ahead for those who haven't read up to Chapter 24... Ugh, fuck, now I'm getting tongue-tied.
Get the butterfly down.
Here we go. Also, spoilers ahead for those who haven't read up to Chapter 24 yet. That being said, let's get started on some introductions. As I said, I'm Mike, the voice of Jodio Joestar. Pettrull, the voice of Charming Man and our narrator, and also our director. Phoenix, the voice of Dragona Joestar.
Aloha.
Matt, the voice of Paco Liberantes.
Hey, yo, what's up?
And Ree, the voice of Usagi Aloha.
What's up, everyone?
Great. What else do I read now?
I'll start here.
Great.
This is also partly a Q&A, so one of the main questions we actually got was one that I personally love. How did you start this project? Me and Mike were actually on a server together, the SBR and JOJOLands FANDUB server, which was a fantastic group of people. They still are. They're awesome. I love them. And I actually joined this FANDUB, joined the SBR and JOJOLands server to join their FANDUB, the FANDUB of JOJOLands that they were working on, that they never finished. And during a chat with Mike, who I met on there, he actually suggested to me that I should start it, which was insane. I was completely, I didn't realize that was a thing I could do. But, he gave me the idea, and with the help of people like Matt, we were actually able to start up the FANDUB.
And for me and Pettrull had been friends beforehand, so he just contacted me and was like, hey, do you want to be Usagi? Absolutely, because Usagi is my favorite character, so it's a real treat to get to voice him.
It was really just a group of ragtag people who had the passion for it, just randomly pulling different people from places, sending out invites and such. It was very, very quick, surprisingly. It took only about, a month or two to get everyone together to start Chapter 1.
Yeah.
Yeah.
About that, yeah.
I was surprised by that.
One of the funniest moments, actually, was when we were looking for the voice of Dragona, because so far the only people that we got were guys. It was me, Mike, and Matt. We were completely how are we going to find this? How are we going to get a female voice actor? And then just out of nowhere, Carrie showed up. It was perfect, because she had already been working on her own FANDUB project that went awry, and so she had a second chance with us.
Just one question. Do you mean the SBR and JOJOLian or SBR and JOJOLand?
SBR and JOJOLian. It was the JOJOLian project.
Okay. I'm pretty sure both times at the start of your story you said JOJOLand.
I meant JOJOLian.
Or we just put an editor's note of every time just on screen just a little asterisk.
Right.
SBR.
Yeah, the whole thing was pretty serendipitous, all of us coming together. I joined that because I wanted to be part of the JOJOLian FANDUB, but then I heard you say that you wanted to start a JOJOLands one, and, I jumped at the chance.
Great choice.
Totally.
Yeah, I remember when I got in contact. I don't remember exactly how it went down. Do you remember, Pettrull, how we got in contact with each other?
Not perfectly, no.
I think it was in the SBR and JOJOLian server, and there was the little call for voice actors. And I think I got in contact with you, and we saw, what characters and such. And I was like, do you have a server and everything? Because I've also been in the servers for the FANDUBs for a long time, so there's usually a little pattern that they follow in creating a little community to work on it, and you were like, nah, it's just me and two other people, and I was like, all right, well, I'm in this early. Oh wow.
Oh.
And it was pretty sick because sure enough, a lot of people came and a lot of people got dedicated into working on it.
And then for me, it's like, this is shortly after the old project I was in kind of got killer queened, as one of the former cast members has called it. I was actually going through COVID when I decided on a whim that I was going to join the Steelball and JOJOLands server, because I remember Jonah used to reach out to me for one thing when my project was still in existence, and so I thought maybe I can see what's going on in the Steelball and JOJOLands fandom, and I saw that post about making a JOJOLands fandom, and I'm like, should I try it again? Basically. And I'm so glad that I decided to try again because I got to meet all of you guys, and it's just been an amazing journey so far.
It's been a real pleasure.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
True.
I have a question for you guys, though.
Yeah.
Because what is everyone's experience with acting or voice acting or even performing? Because a lot of people who would be considering joining a fandom, they might be wondering if experience is necessary to make a fandom project. Is it a good thing? Is it a bad thing to not have any experience beforehand?
I mean, I think this is experience, building this and doing this. If you don't have it beforehand, this is a great way to do it in a way that not only gives you practice, also gives you a reel. If you want to put in auditions for other official stuff, you can probably send them some of your work from this. I mean, that's what I think anyway.
Oh,
I
totally.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you with that, especially because the last project I was in was actually the first time I did kind of any of this whole voice acting sort of thing. And I think I'm going to mention it again, but it's not the matter whether you have the experience or you lack the experience, but more if you're willing to kind of get yourself immersed into it and build yourself from there.
Yeah, for sure.
So what about you guys? Do you guys have any experience prior to the stand-up, in terms of acting?
Well, I was a full-on theater kid at least a year before we started this project, I believe. 2 years before we started this project. But I actually never was in theater until then. But now that I am, I'm absolutely loving it, and that's been my practice for voices and, playing a character, which I didn't have experience in until now. But now, with this, I'm getting a whole new experience. It's even starting to make me want to, go do this seriously. Go seriously be a voice actor or an actor. Perform. It's really awesome.
Yeah, and kind of piggybacking off of Pettrull's response, I had a similar experience where I wasn't really a theater kid until senior year of high school, but me and my friends would go out and we'd make these silly little movies beforehand, and that was a lot of practice for the cadence which I speak and deliver some of Usagi's lines.
Obviously, it sometimes is better if you've already had experience. Yeah, because you already know how to do the voices and whatever. But no, this is the best place to get experience. Start a fandub. Dub over one of your favorite mangas or manhwas or whatever you're listening to. Get some friends. Do it. It's a great chance, and it'll give you this experience that you didn't have before.
So for me, basically take 50% of what Pettrull said with the whole time frame of getting into theater and everything, and copy and paste it for me, because it's literally the same thing. After I finished up high school, or as I was finishing it up, I was kind of at a loss for what I wanted to do. Living here in Brazil, the only real advantage that I had was my, fluency with English, although I wouldn't call it real fluency, but anyway. But as I started to finish up part 6 through the manga and I was still going to school, I decided to look into part 7. I was like, I wonder if I can listen to this instead. And I looked it up, and sure enough, it was the SBR, at the time only SBR, FANDUB. And as I got into it, I think I even remember watching it up to chapter 46, and I was like, oh, this is pretty sick. I wonder if I can. And so I got into the Discord, got in with them, and started going after it. And that's how I fell in love with this whole thing. And I was like, I want to do voice acting. So same thing for the last 2 years. I've been in a theater course because in Brazil, the process to be a voice actor is a little bit different than in the US. You can still do freelance stuff online, but if you want to be a professional voice actor, it's a little bit different, where you have to go through, get enough experience with hours and stuff, and get a certificate and a license that actually lets you be a voice actor. So I'm going after that, and same as Pettrull, it's been such a big help, even though it's in a different language, it's such a big help to get you those reference points for, oh, this character sounds maybe a little bit like this, and their behavior and their like speaking patterns are going to be in this place or that place. So for sure it's been helping a lot. And with the whole experience thing, like everybody already said, this is the place to try stuff and fail or succeed, because it's only by doing it more and more that you get more used to it, you get more comfortable, and you get just better at it.
100%.
Well,
True.
Yeah.
absolutely. Well said all around.
Yeah.
You're just gonna sound like an echo chamber here again, I feel like. Well, mine is actually slightly different, but I mostly focused on production in school, on the other side of things, producing, writing, all that stuff. But I've always had a real admiration for people that can convey so much with just their voice. You know, it's astounding. And, you know, I work with some pretty phenomenal people on this project, but I've always been, deeply interested in getting into it. And, you know, meeting Pettrull and just kind of planting the seed of this was serendipity. You know, it's funny. I remember, I can actually pinpoint the exact moment I thought that maybe this was something I kind of wanted to do. It was in Dragon Ball Z Kai. I was watching it way back in, God, I think it was high school or something. And Frieza, gives this freaking, like, awesome speech about why he's the best. And he gets creamed shortly after, but, like, I was really, like, moved by the ferocity of it. And, you know, it was, it kind of carried with me until, you know, this very moment. Actually, fun little sidebar. I would listen to that speech before I ran cross-country races, and, you know, I demolish. But, you know, it's just, you know, it's funny where these kind of, these interests begin. And yeah, no, but like, on the experience part, this is all experience. Doing something you love with your friends is a perfect way to start getting experience. You know, put yourself on tape, film it. Even if you don't, like, think it's going to amount to anything, chances are it might, because you can't fake passion. And if it's something you're passionate about, just fucking believe in yourself, dude. You know, that's my advice for everyone.
Heck yeah.
Where's your passion, man?
You gotta have
Exactly.
Yeah.
Where's your passion, man?
I think it's definitely something you don't need experience. This is where you freaking get it.
Yeah.
Exactly.
This is your internship job.
Mhm.
Yeah. It's scary putting yourself out there on the internet, and as much hate as you may still get, I don't know about you guys, but I don't think we've gotten like any hate. Like, not really.
No.
Well,
mostly
just comments for like us not doing the fandom, like, you know, we put our little like dubs in the sketches, and they're like, "Get back to doing the fandom." And
Yeah. Or
Get back to work.
Go back to the mines.
yeah, yeah.
The occasional chincel asking why Dragona sounds like a girl. Sorry, should we not touch that? Should we not touch that?
We're getting to it later.
Yeah.
All right. And
Oh, yeah.
I think we should lead into the making of the voices, actually, since we're talking about practice.
Absolutely.
There's a lot of different ways that each of us have cultivated the voice that we actually have for our characters. Some more complicated, some less complicated. Who would like to start?
Jeez. God,
Go
who the
in the
boss you
order of
picked?
the list of the script.
Oh, yeah, that's me. Damn it. Well, this was definitely something that, you know, I'm gonna actually speak on this because I lacked experience, with this kind of thing, you know, had a passing, you know, fascination with it, but it was sort of an exercise in getting comfortable with my voice. Episode 1, chapter 1, when Jojo shrieks when he's, like, you know, pummeling the cops with the rain, is the first time I ever let myself really yell for the first time. And, you know, people were concerned. They thought I was being murdered or something, but it felt really freaking good to just let loose like that. And it really is just my voice, but, you know, kind of maybe a little more like whispery or kind of bored sounding. And there's not much to it, I think. I just think that, if I were doing too much, it would come off in the performance, and I think just allowing myself to find that natural sort of, angst, I guess, in the back of the voice, because he is an angsty teen, so just getting there was sort of my, but you guys were extremely helpful, because I was kind of spiraling with it, in the first chapter. I'm like, am I doing too much? Am I doing too little? And you guys were like, just chill out, first and foremost. that was extremely helpful.
I remembered, you messaged me about, how you should do Jodio's voice, because you were like, oh, it sounds too sneaky, but, if I don't whisper, my voice won't be, high enough that people don't think I sound like a grown man, but if I go too high, then I might sound like Shigaraki or Rohan. And I remember when you mentioned about Rohan, I was just like, actually, don't, try to force it, but it'd be really cool if Jodio sounds kind of similar to Rohan, given how Jodio worships that dude and might have subconsciously tried to mimic Rohan's speech pattern in a way. And I mentioned, and this is how I found out that you are a huge fan of Dune as well. Because I was just Fade Rotha talking kind of like Baron Harkonnen. And you should do the same with Jodio with Rohan.
Yeah, that was hilarious.
Yeah.
I think it's
that was awesome.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of influence of Dune.
Very shocking, random add-on that we have to this. But yeah, we have a lot of Dune references, and that's a great thing. I love Dune.
Dune is peak.
Absolutely. Well, we all have good taste, so.
I can't tell if y'all are saying dude or Dune.
Dune.
And the
book and the movie.
Don't kill me because I haven't watched it. Ooh.
You gotta watch it.
I just wanted to comment on something really quick, if I may.
Yeah.
I think it's really interesting you point out with your whole experience with, trying to do it, but maybe not too much, because then it doesn't sound like a real person, doesn't sound like you. I think this is where you learn in practice what maybe someone that has done theater before could have maybe not noticed, or even could be able to pass it to you. But with enough time, they would realize that whenever you do an archetype, like a character, or you do some kind of stereotype or whatever it is, you're never trying to imitate somebody that has done it. You're trying to apply that archetype to you, to how you would do that if you were that way. So it kind of passes through you as a filter so that you can do it. I forget the exact word, but basically realistically, that is true to you and would therefore make a good performance. And I think that trial and error, you absolutely got there.
Oh yeah, that is.
Well, thank you so much, man. That means a lot. Of course. All right, who's next?
Oh God, hi. I was going to kind of backpack a little bit on the whole filtering whatnot, because I feel like Dragona is such a complex character, especially regarding their identity and whatnot. Coming into voicing Dragona, it would I know a lot of people, they really like to be I am going to be an in real life version of so and so. I didn't feel like it was appropriate for me to be I am in real life Dragona, because I can only relate so much to Dragona. And for the most part, I also kind of don't change my voice too much. Maybe I make myself sound a bit more youthful, given that Dragona is a young adult. Even before I voiced Dragona, I tried my best to kind of read into things about gender identity, representation of not gender non-conforming trans individuals in media, and the issues that they face, especially after the events of chapter 13. And that kind of really set in mind as to making me wonder what would be the voice of Dragona, because I understand that there are people who are Dragona should probably have this voice or this voice, and I do acknowledge that trans and gender non-conforming individuals, there is no such thing as a specific voice. You have people of different stages in their transition or their journey with gender, and some may have a more feminine kind of voice, some may have a more masculine voice, and some may have something in between. And I know that the cast, they were looking for something a bit more on the feminine side. What I did want to keep in mind when I was kind of voicing Dragona is that I didn't want to contribute to the narrative that Dragona's voice is the way it is because it's funny. And I think there was a comment that kind of pissed me off where someone said Dragona should have this voice because it would be super hilarious if she did. And trans and gender non-conforming people don't exist to be a joke. I had that kind of in the back of my head whenever I voiced Dragona, where it's like, okay, I have to like make sure that like I am presenting Dragona as a person and not like contributing to like people thinking that, oh, this voice was chosen or this voice is being said because you think it was going to be funny, or it's contributing to like Dragona being not a complex and important character, but being something to be laughed at instead. I don't know if you guys have like thought about that, like not just with Dragona, but like when seeing characters in media, like how they're presented and whatnot. That's always like in my head whenever I use Dragona, and I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing.
No, definitely.
Yeah.
Dragona most certainly is not a joke character.
No. I actually think that, you know, the comment that you got is only a taste of what Dragona and someone like Dragona goes through. You know what I mean? I think if anything, it's kind of a window in, and I think that you've handled, obviously, you know, we take it very seriously. You take your character very seriously, and I think that, I think you've done a great job with Big Bro. So, you know.
You've definitely done a great job.
I do try my best.
Matt, tell us about how you do Paco, because I actually have something that I perfectly agree with you, I believe, on doing the voice.
Oh boy. All right. So, I think from the very beginning when we were looking into it, kind of going back to when me and Pettrull were kind of like talking about it, and I was like, hey, this is kind of how my voice sounds like. And then Pettrull was like, Paco might be interesting for you. It was definitely a process that we had to go through. It was like, he's definitely the type of character. There are some characters that you look in anime through their personality and how they, you know, behave and everything. They're like, they should have this ballpark of a voice. Again, going back to the whole, like, getting those characters and stereotypes and how to make them fit on you. And we were like, how gravelly should his voice be? Obviously that's not the main focus, but it's an important part to when you're going after a character. You know, they can just be like your voice, but if you are going to do something that you actively have to think about when you do their voice, it's good that you know how to get there and know what you're going for. It's obviously, again, this is experience, so it's fine if you change it up and you try to be like, okay, this is a bit more comfortable, this is a bit different. But it was definitely a process. It was like, all right, how much should we make him sound like an 80-year-old smoker, like chain smoker? And it was like, okay, not that much. Bro is still 19. But at the same time, he is like on the rougher side, and he is like, he's been through shit, as we've been able to see.
Yeah.
110%.
What's that line that you usually say to like get your voice to be Paco again?
It's really weird because when we first noticed, it's like, all right, this is where we kind of want to put him at with the gruffness of the voice and how he talks. It wasn't even for an episode. It was for a freaking, like, it was the, what do we call it? What was the skit? It was God, what is it called? Yeah, Lethal Company. It was the Lethal Company video where he goes, "Who the fuck bought a teleporter?"
Yeah!
And he said that thing. And so that's just usually, I think pretty consistently every time that I sit down to record, that's what I kind of have to go for. I say that little line because that's usually the case with voice acting. If you create a voice for a character, you're gonna have to, you're gonna have to, but usually what happens is there's a specific sentence that you're like, ooh, I'm able to use that as a little pathway to get my brain into this headspace to speak like this, speak like the character. And that ended up happening. I'm still working on it. I feel like it got to a pretty good place, but now I'm trying to figure out how to do it more consistently, which I do feel it's gotten better. I also have a few difficulties with English because it's not my first language, especially with how anime characters talk. The enunciations are more forced and they're like bigger. So there's a little bit of that. I think in the beginning, I would even ask I would even ask Phoenix to put the emphasis on where, like, I'll put like an underline of where the emphasis should be in sentences so that I could have a visual representation of how to deliver them. And it would make so much more sense. I was like, oh my God, of course. Like, I could think about it, but I couldn't do it. And so now I just gotta figure out how to get to that voice without killing my throat much, because I've noticed that as I go recording, like, I get to the voice and I'm able to do it consistently. And then 10 minutes pass and I have to be constantly drinking water and my throat is like, you are abusing me. And I'm like, I'm so sorry, I have to do this. Which is not a good thing, by the way. You should get voices that don't hurt you.
Oh yeah, certainly. Do not struggle. You can struggle, but don't break your voice for a voice. If you can't do it, you can't.
Yeah, like there's a way where you can put the strength of the voice in your diaphragm instead of your throat, but that goes into kind of advanced like voice acting techniques that I don't know yet. So I'll get there. That's the thing. I'll get there through experience.
Yes, the main man experience.
Yeah.
I just want to say one quick thing. All of your voices have invaded the manga for me. Whenever I read new chapters, I hear it in your voices, but I will say that Matt's Paco was the first to stick. I think when reading, I would hear Matt's voice in my head. I don't know if that happens for any of you guys now, but that's definitely something that happens to me.
Oh my gosh, especially Paco, yeah. Paco is iconic.
Yeah,
Oh my God. Stop it, you guys. I think it was so funny on chapter 1 when we were making it, and I just get like a random message from Mike being like, hey, when Jojo's talking and kind of quoting what Paco says, I kind of did an accent, like mimicking yours. Is that okay? And I'm like, dude, absolutely. And you can so clearly hear it in the episode, and I love it.
Oh, I'm so glad. I wanted to make sure, yeah, it's Jojo being a little shit. I'm not being a little shit, you know.
Yeah.
There's a gym over there. And I'm like,
well, I guess it's my turn. So, like Dragona's voice, I kind of tried to keep it similar to my voice, where it's like not too different, but I pitched it a little higher and like exaggerate like the way I say certain things, because Usagi is a very like kind of boisterous individual. We're getting all fancy with the words, but the way I interpret it, he wants to like kind of show off and brag to everyone, and he's trying to be everyone's friend. So he's very like outward, which is very much not me. One thing I considered while doing his voice was I considered doing a Shigechi type voice, where it was like really annoying, but then I was like, if Usagi's gonna be a mainstay, I don't think he should have like a really grating type voice like Shigechi, so I kind of discarded that idea early.
Thank God you didn't.
Now it is time for Charming. I have something very similar to Paco, and I 100% do. When it came to Charming before I really got into him, I wanted him to have a southern hospitality sort of voice. If you've ever heard a southern lawyer, that's what I thought when I heard the words Charming Man. And so I tried to do that voice, but eventually it started becoming British, which, honestly, at this point, actually works. Which was shocking to me. He actually does fit for a British voice. And Carrie, you asked me about it, and you actually told me about like how he might want to change his voice to sound like that, which I thought was a really interesting part of the character, so I decided to add it in.
Oh yeah.
There's also my trigger for doing his voice. Since I wasn't in the Lethal Company thing, mine didn't come from that. No, it came from McBama. Of all things, shit for brains. So whenever I try to do his voice, I can't normally go into Charming. That's the weirdest thing. I can't go into Charming's voice. I have to just sit there and say shit for brains over and over and over, and eventually I actually get into the voice. It's ridiculous, but it works.
I do like how some of the comments were just like, he's British.
Yeah.
You know what? Yeah, he's British.
He sounds British.
Yeah, he's British. Do you want to explain the thing that like I told you about, like why I think Charming would have a British accent and why it would work?
Let me get the specifics on that actually, if I can find them. Because I want to do this word for word, because this was you explained it better than I ever could. Let me see. In your words, I like to think he picked it up to try making himself more well-liked, and he was into British TV shows growing up. Like, I have a feeling he's discriminated because he's native Hawaiian, so he picked up an English name and accent to try and hide his heritage and prevent himself from being hurt or judged by authorities for his background. And perhaps his abilities to alter perception and his appearance stems from that. Plus, his theater ass probably used BSA to pretend to play characters. Yeah.
Charlie is a theater kid. You can see how well he plays Yokohama. Like
100% he's a theater kid, and I relate to him. I am 100%. I want to be real life Charming. Like, I respect that guy so much. He's so awesome.
I think it's also the type of character where he is introduced so out of left field and just becomes a part of the crew, and it's like kind of like an oddball that it's in anime would have those kind of like, yeah, for the voices, this guy's voice is going to be wildly different than everybody else's, because that's also kind of like a separator of the rest of the separator. Did I say that right? Separated from the rest of the crew, not only because of the character, the story behind the character, but also voice-wise. Yeah. I think that fits really well.
There's one last thing, because if any of you can tell online, I am the youngest person here. I have the youngest voice. Even though I am the director, I'm the baby of this group.
It's just a baby.
But Charming is the oldest character in the group. I lower my voice every time I do it because I have to sound, compared to the people who have to sound younger, I have to sound older than I actually am. So that's just a fun little addition onto that, because I'm both like really similar to other people and the exact opposite.
Yeah. Would you guys like to guess who the oldest of us five are?
I know the answer to this question.
If Pettrull is the youngest, who, like, to our listeners, who is the oldest?
Your answers in the comments. We'll get to see who got it right.
Yeah, type your answers down below.
We'll answer maybe.
Maybe. I think I will. I think I wanna get the answer out, but we'll leave it to the fans. Oh, how do we record? This is a very simple little question.
Very carefully.
Oh, yes, 100%.
Yeah.
A lot of us will do our lines over and over and over. It's very fun.
Mm-hmm.
If you look at like some of the recordings of our voices, there's like one person will say the same line 3 times, and each of them sound completely different. So you have to like siphon out the right one.
Yeah, I will say, because like in addition to being the voice for Dragon, I'm also the editor. But like you guys would do like multiple takes of like different lines, and on the more technical side, it was like, on one hand, it's so cool to see you guys interpret like the lines in different ways. But on the other hand, it's like, I have to go through all the lines and cut it all down and figure out which one's like good. And then there's some where it's like the first half of like a line is like, oh yeah, this is what I want. But then the second half of a different take is like what I want. I'm like, how do I put them together?
I want to follow that up with, I am so sorry for the future of anybody that like is going to audio edit anything that I send, because I am, like I said, I struggle a bit with this stuff, so I just send like 50 takes. The audio file for chapter 4, I think it was 20 minutes long. And although Paco, yes, indeed have a lot of lines, it was so much more filled with just me doing multiple takes, and just sent to Carrie like, hey, here you go, if you wanna go through it, if you wanna pick out the one that you want.
Actually,
so I'm so sorry.
beat me with an hour.
Holy shit.
Yeah, he did a uncut take of 1 hour, and I sent that to Curious and said, hey, can you clean this up for me? I'm not gonna do it.
That was hilarious. Yeah.
The only thing I managed to cut out was just, well, I won't spoil it, but yeah, there was only a bit that I was able to like cut out of it. I do find it funny because like before I became an editor, the take that I put in, I actually like edited my takes to like just do like one take, one line, because I thought whoever was going to be editing is going to be dealing with it a lot, and I didn't want to inconvenience them.
Yeah, for me when I record, it takes me a while to record too, but what I send to the editors is like what I think my best line deliveries are. So like Carrie will get like the file and it's just like the lines, and I don't have like multiple takes. Sometimes if I do like think, oh well, this one's good, but this one is also good, and I don't really know, like I can't differentiate which one I think is better, I let the editors decide and just include both in the recording I send.
I'm kind of the same way. I go through a bunch of different takes. Actually, no. Sometimes I'll give you more than one if I think that two are pretty good. But also, I didn't really speak on how I get. I don't have like a trigger phrase for getting getting into Jodio. I actually slouch because I think he's like, I kind of get into the physicality of him. So I kind of do like a moody slouch, which isn't really good for your diaphragm, when you're speaking. So I kind of sacrifice that a little bit. But also, here's a funny thing about when I'm recording my lines. I'm dyslexic, so I will sometimes misread a line and then missay a line. So typically, at least 1 to 2, 3, sometimes more lines per chapter. I'll have Big Bro coming to me and saying, "Hey, by the way, you got to say this differently," and I'm like, "Oh shit, of course, sorry." So that's kind of my process.
Oh, do I have a trigger? Now that I think about it, do I have a trigger word? I feel like if I do have a trigger word, I think it's just saying Jodio. Like, being Dragonis saying Jodio. I'm like, Jodio? Jodio, or something.
Yeah.
Jodio.
I love that.
Jodio!
There we go!
That specific Jodio from chapter 1 where I'm glad, thank you so much. That moment. Anyway,
Goodness.
I just wanted to point out again, Mike, another thing that you notice through theater. Your body affects a lot, your voice. I'm sorry, I'm a nerd about theater, and like doing this course has taught me so much. Seriously, if you're interested in any art,
I love it.
Go do theater, a theater course or a theater whatever. Go do it. It's a lot of fun. The people there are usually great. Usually, I can't guarantee always, but usually great. And you learn so much about being a human.
Yeah, even if you're like really sportsy or something, if that's your main passion, go
love of it.
It's a great time.
Like I was saying that Matt and Pettrull's passion for it is infectious, and it definitely got me interested in it. That's all I was gonna say.
Yeah.
Do we answer this question? Something about your audio that when I hear it, I can hear that it's been like edited, and that's just something that I've really been trying to work on. It's just setting stuff, and also my room is very like broad, and the walls are don't really feel sound, so that's just something I gotta invest on in the future if I want to follow this professionally, and I do. But I'll figure it out eventually.
Yeah, my mic was good. It worked well for a while. Like, it was a really good mic for a while. And then something happened, and it just can't pick up my voice well. I have to basically ASMR it every time I do a voice. And I'm working on getting a new mic, 100%. I'm actually not using my professional mic, if you can't tell. My professional mic still does sound better, 100%, which is lucky for me. Dear goodness gracious, I have to like get so close to the mic that I'm like almost touching it, and it's crazy.
Can I be honest? Yes, I notice every time. It's like, he sounds good as a narrator, but back the fuck up, man.
Yeah, no, I'm getting a new mic soon. We're gonna fix that problem.
Yeah, for me, like, I have one of those USB mics, and that was like given to me by a cousin of mine who doesn't want to use that mic anymore. And at that time, like, I was just gonna keep that mic because I was mostly just in my last project, I was just doing a minor character voice. And so that's the mic that I typically kind of use. I put a sock over it and hope that like it actually improves the quality or something. But like when I'm ever too lazy to like set up my microphone, or I'm like in a rush, I actually use my phone microphone to record lines. And even like when I'm editing and I feel like, I could like put in like a sound right here, I just use the Clipchamp like audio recording to like just record my voice there or something. So it's a bit of a mix. Hopefully there's not too much of a difference in quality.
Yeah, I got this mic off of Amazon to kind of go into mine, and I just do on CapCut, and that's where I also edit the clips down for the editors. But yeah, sometimes I'll have to put a blanket over my head. Like, I don't have a blanket over my head now, which is kind of why it's so echoey, but the blanket helps keep the sound in. And also, it filters out my roommates and the people above me. Because my roommate, he plays Rivals sometimes. And, like, I have to record when he's not playing Rivals. Because, like, I'll hear him yelling through the wall. And the people above me are like the classic upstairs neighbor, and sometimes I'll hear him rearranging furniture. That's just kind of my recording process.
Oh, yeah.
And last but not least, I use a Yeti. You know, it's durable, does the job.
Get a Yeti.
I should get a Yeti too.
Mm-hmm. Good idea. Good idea, fellas.
Mm-hmm.
Should we get into some fan questions now?
Yeah. Q&A from the
I
viewers.
could ask the questions. Yeah. Let's go for some fan questions. Starting off, I guess, related to our, like how this fandom kind of came to be, which, I guess somebody asked, are the voice actors friends in real life or did they meet online?
Well, there's two schools of thought about that, because I consider you real life friends, but we did meet online, yes.
Yeah, most of us met online.
Yeah.
Except me and Ree. I actually knew Ree from a while back because me and him actually were friends in high school. He actually brought me on to help him in a movie project, which was Russell Run. It was a very, very awesome little project.
Oh my god, Russell Run mentioned!
Should I spoil the magic and say that Mike and I are actually not related?
Yeah, go ahead.
No way, no.
No,
We're not
way.
bros.
Yeah, the thing is, like, if Matt or Mike and I are actually siblings, we would need to ask our dads because the age difference between us is like not really that much.
No, right.
And I was like, yeah. All right. Next question. This one is kind of like a four-parter. Who is each member's favorite JoJo, favorite JoBro, favorite main villain, favorite side villain, and favorite side character?
Oh, I love that. Who wants to go first?
Favorite JoJo?
Mm-hmm.
I gotta say Joseph. He's just way too fun.
Young Joseph, old Joseph, or senile Joseph?
Young Joseph. Like, he's good in the other parts too, but young Joseph is just the best. A little problematic at times, but really funny. Favorite JoBro, I gotta say Okuyasu. He's just a dumbass. It's so great. Favorite main villain. Maybe I shouldn't have gone first. Hold on. Here's my mind immediately goes to Kira.
Nice choice.
Chicago Kira. Yeah, I really like. I guess it's fun to see him like break down a little bit, like in those episodes before he gets sliced to dust. And like, such bullshit by the way with him getting away when he gets his hand chopped off.
No, I know.
Favorite side villain? I tend to not really remember the side villains.
That's totally fair.
But let's see. Those. If y'all can name a few, great.
Anyone from La Squadra?
La Squadra, there's...
Any of the prisoners?
Oh, yeah, the prisoners. You've got Glory Gods.
Ringo Rodigan.
Oh,
you know what? Here. The guy that in the English dub was the one voice actor of Legoshi from Beastars. The guy that makes... Yes.
You like the cheese man?
The Shrimp and Cheese Man?
Drunken Cheese Man. That's a great choice.
Well said.
And also the fight with Notch is just really funny. Intense. Favorite side character? I'll go with Koichi. Koichi's fun too. I guess you could consider him a JoBro as well, but yeah, I like him.
I'm starting to think you like part 4 a lot, Matt.
Yeah.
That was surprisingly not one of the questions of favorite part. Yes, part 4. I really like part 4. I especially loved seeing like, I don't know about you guys, but just the idea of stands in a slice of life. It's really fun. Using stands for like, it's literally, helps us think of like, what stand would you like to have in real life with like, cause like, we're not constantly in fucking fights. We want the practical applications of stands in real life. So that was really fun to see.
Totally. I'll jump in next if that's okay.
Yeah.
I like Josuke from Part 8 best. He's my favorite JoJo. I just think that, I love the story of JoJoLand being like, finding your place in the world, figuring out who you are, and finding a family. It resonates. I think it's beautiful. I love the evolution of Araki's art style in JoJoLand. I think it's great. Who's my favorite JoBro? Probably Okuyasu, but Yasuo is a close second. Main villain, probably Diavolo. I think he's really freaking creepy, and I love King Crimson as a band and as a stand. Although I love Wonder of You also. I think that thing is freaking terrifying, and I actually consider Wonder of You to be the main villain over Toru. Spoilers for anyone who hasn't finished JOJOLands. Favorite side villain. Yeah. And that actually is a hard question. I think that Ringo Road Against's pretty awesome. I love Gyro's fight with him. I think he's really cool. I like that he's like, he's an antagonist, but he's not really villainous. And side character Hayato. I think it's awesome that he like kind of saves the day and doesn't have a stand at all.
Mm-hmm. Favorite JoJo? I'll have to agree with Mike here. Gappy is my favorite. I love that kid. He's just fun. He's silly. He has great moments, and he's really, really, really just amazing to watch. Favorite Joe Bro is actually going to be very fun. Paco.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Paco's goated.
He's absolutely a great contrast to JoJo as a character, because he's more confident about it. He's confident, he's powerful, he's strong, and it's great. He's lovely, and every time he's on the page, I just absolutely have a blast listening to him, watching what he does. It's great. My favorite main villain, this is just simply because he's just such a vibe, Poochie. I love Poochie so much.
Mm.
I love the imagery, the Christian imagery he has. I love his motivation. I love his connection to Dio. I love his stands. All three of them are fantastic. He is just such a menacing figure with such a, you can sort of understand where he's coming from, and it's great. I love it. I love that guy.
Great choice.
Favorite side villain, he's probably my favorite character in all of JoJo. Magent from part 7. He's so goofy. He is so goofy. And also, I sort of look like him. I say, he's just so fun, he's goofy, he's menacing, and he's just everything I think a JoJo character should be. He is, especially a side villain. He's a great side villain. And then side character.
Great choice.
I think Poco Loco is my favorite side character. He's
a good one.
I'm looking at Magent again, and you do kind of look like Magent.
I need to cosplay him one day. I need to.
Yeah. I'll kind of piggyback off of that, because I'm also a part 8 truther. So my favorite JoJo is Gappy. He's just such an optimistic character. He never and especially coming off of Johnny from part 7, where Johnny was trying to find his way back onto the righteous path, kind of. Gappy doesn't even know what path he's on. He's he just got here, man. And I find that really powerful, kind of how he finds his place by the end of the part, and he has a seat at the table with the Higashikatas at the end. Spoilers for part 8. Oops. But yeah, it's a very powerful ending. And going in part with that, my favorite Joe Bro in quotation marks, is Yasuho. I love her relationship with Gappy, and how it's it's very natural. It springs up very naturally, and it's you can tell these two care. And I really appreciate the little scenes they get in between with just each other, where it's they don't have a stand fight and they're just kind of hanging out. It's very nice. It's very sweet. My favorite main villain, though, I think I'm gonna have to go with Poochie. He's a trooper. I gotta give him that. He did not want to give up. And his crushing defeat at the hands of Emporio was satisfying. I think it's the most satisfying JoJo villain death. Even more than Dio. And yes, I will say even more than Dio. Side villain. Huh. Oh, I was gonna say Foo Fighters, but then I'm no, Foo Fighters is more of a Joe Bro. Oh, Ringo Rodigan. Actually, no, Weka Pipo. Weka Pipo is my favorite side villain. His connection with Gyro is... It fleshes Gyro out more. And his later, like, conversion to a quote-unquote good guy is pretty neat, even if he shaves off his cool-ass mustache that he should have totally kept. But Araki has a thing against facial hair. So, too bad, Weka Pipo. And with Weka Pipo, him not having a stand and instead just having a steel ball, it was a unique fight, and I really liked it. But my favorite side character, I want to go with Tonio from Part 4, but I think I'm going to go back to Part 8 and pick Carrera. Carrera's so funny. I love her. A queen. A true queen of the people. I hope she comes back in Part 9. I really hope she does.
Oh gosh, for me, like, a lot of, like, my favorite things, it's like, I would like one character and like another character, so I'm gonna try my best to, like, just stick with, like, one for each. Favorite JoJo, I would have to say Josuke, Part 4. I think he's a great character, he's so sweet. And favorite JoBro, gosh, I'm like, this always keeps on changing because now that Pettrull's brought Paco, I'm like, wait, no, I really like Paco as a JoBro. And I was thinking earlier, Yasuho is my favorite JoBro. And then even before that, I was thinking Hermes. What the hell? Yeah. And then once again, favorite main villain, both Mike and Pettrull, like, said Diablo and Pucci respectively. I love both of them for different reasons. And so I can't really choose which one's my ultimate favorite. Side villain? I do have one favorite side villain that's probably going to ruffle some feathers, so I'm going to say another side villain that I like, which is Midler. No, I don't want to ruffle
feathers, do it!
You should ruffle feathers, do it.
Yeah, there should be ruffle.
Okay, favorite side, so, Malone from Part 5.
Oh, I love Malone.
Yeah.
Well, he's super cool, and like, if he's also a piece of shit, but that's all.
They all are.
Yeah. And then,
You love to see him fall.
Yeah. I do love to see him fall. And also, another one that I was going to say, Midler from Part 3. I love Midler.
Nice.
Oh yeah, that's a really choice.
And then my favorite side character is going to be Miss Charlotte from Part 6. I love that gator. Okay, I one day I will be able to buy a Miss Charlotte puppet gator thing. I would love her.
Oh,
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's great.
All right.
What's next?
Right. Yeah. Next question is, what was the moment you truly fell in love with JoJo's?
This is a long story for me, and I've already answered it, so I will leave it to you guys.
It was the pandemic, actually. It was 2020, about May of 2020, and I had nothing to do, so I just binged the entire thing, and I think around... I loved it. I think it was the Vanilla Ice fight when I'm like, wow, this is the best thing I've ever fucking seen. And then I just became obsessed ever since. I know that was kind of far in to be really. I loved it before then, but I think that was when I realized it was my favorite.
So real.
Yeah, mine's kind of similar with the pandemic. I was just kind of sitting around bored and I had nothing to do. And literally all day I would either just play video games or watch movies and TV. And one of the TV shows I started watching was JoJo's. And I got all the way to Part 5, and I was like, there's no way. I can't just leave it like this. I need to know what happens next. So I went and I read Stone Ocean, Steel Ball Run, and then caught up with JOJOLands, all in like the span of a week. I was blazing through it, and now I'm kind of obsessed with this series just a little bit, and I own all of them physically now. Not to flex or anything.
I think for me, I started really liking it when I think it was back in 2000, maybe 18, 19. My school in the US, when I was in the US, had a anime club, And one day we were watching JoJo's, and I thought it was so weird. The whole art style was like, why does everybody look so huge? But then it was the moment where, again, pretty close to the beginning, where the whole Speedwagon and Jonathan fight, and they start describing everything, and I was like, oh my god, this tickles a part of my brain of like gentlemen fighting. That was like so good. I learned that like the entirety of JoJo is not about that. But that moment was so like, I love when people are very like, good fight, my good man. Good fight, you too. And it was like, I don't know, I just really liked that. And then from that point on, I think it was with the second part, Joseph just really liking it with the whole, your next lines are, and then from that moment was the whole thing. It was like, yep, I really like this.
Yeah, I think I also kind of got into JoJo's during the pandemic. Actually, I used to have friends in high school who were like, you should watch JoJo's. And I was just like, I don't know. Like, I'm kind of going through some stuff right now. I don't really want to pick up another series. And then, like, right before the pandemic, I walked into, people watching the season finale of Golden Wind. I was just like, wait, what is this? And how could I make this my entire personality? But I think with a lot of things in my life, what really made me fall in love is not necessarily like the thing itself, but the community that I found with it. And I think that really got solidified. And I think that really got solidified when JOJOLands came out. Cause I was just like, wait, I really love JoJo. Yeah. Okay. Next question. What character do you think would have the most accurate voice to the actual voice actor if JOJOLands gets an anime?
Paco.
Yeah, Paco.
Yeah,
hands down.
Paco. Paco. Maybe Usagi. I really love the way Ri does Usagi's voice.
Oh, yeah.
Like, honestly, it sounds adorable and also slightly pathetic.
In the best way.
Yeah, I think he really, that thing that I mentioned before where like anime has certain types of characters and what their voices are usually connected to. I think Ri nails it with Usagi.
Oh, yes, 100%.
Yeah, especially when he does the whole please.
Please, 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 please.
I just love it so much. Okay.
So,
That's a very
our
fun thing to
resounding answer is Usagi and Paco.
Yeah, Usagi and Paco.
Aw, thank you.
Thanks, absolutely. Next question, which I guess relates to what was kind of discussed earlier. What are your opinions on Dragona's pronouns? And I do want to take this time to kind of know, because we had a couple people complain, like, why don't you use so-and-so pronouns for Dragona? And the reason for that is the translations that we use they, them. And the translators actually have told us that they're fine with us doing the FANDUB so long as we don't change the text. And so out of kind of respect for their request, to that. And I guess for anybody who plans on doing the JOJOLands FANDUB themselves, and possibly any other FANDUBs, don't change the text of the translators. They worked hard on the translations, and if they tell you not to do that, then don't do that. And so that's why we are using they, them. But I guess, personally, for all of us, what pronouns do you guys actually use for Dragona? I'm curious.
Generally use they, them, she, her.
Yeah.
That's about it. I have no explanation. I just use that.
Yeah.
Same here. And I just want to add a little note, and we can take this out if we think it's a little scathing, but the people that get bothered by it, find something else to get bothered by. It's not that deep.
Yeah. And I'll be honest, like, I honestly don't care how Dragona is referred to in terms of, like, pronouns. Like, I don't mind if people feel like Dragona would be he, him, or they, them, or she, her. It's just a matter of why you chose those pronouns in the first place, and if you're aware of the nuances of why other people would choose the other pronouns.
Be understanding, people! Please!
Next question. What is the most difficult part of voice acting the characters for the JOJOLands?
I haven't done a big thing yet, so this is not my question. This is y'all.
I think I covered it. Oh, you go first, Matt, if you want.
Alright, thanks. But yeah, I was gonna say kind of that's it. We can give kind of joke answers like smoking 6 packs a day. But no, I think the hardest part is, or at least for me, with Paco, is doing the voice and yelling. I think that's a specific part that I didn't mention before. Yelling with a gravelly voice is fucking hard, and I think that's what really wears down my voice, especially because if Paco was the type of character that had the gravelly voice, but always spoke at a regular volume, that'd be fine. But no, he's very emotional. He like gets angry easily. He shouts a lot. I remember how difficult it was, and I never really liked the way that I did the hey for chapter 1 with the whole Dragona grabbing Pacos' ears and like pulling and stuff, and him talking and everything. But eventually I got better at doing it. But at the same time, it comes at the cost of, usually I leave the screaming stuff for last because I know it's going to kill my voice. But in chapters where he's just screaming a lot, which is kind of often, I just have to tough it out and do lots of warm-ups for the voice during it and before it and after. Take care of your voice, people. Do warm-ups.
Yes, please.
Mm-hmm.
That is very important. I think my hardest part, learning to be comfortable yelling was definitely hard. Also for me, I think coming to terms with the fact that I'm voicing someone significantly younger than me was a challenge. But then, when I thought about it, a lot of the actual, dub voice actors are significantly older than their JoJo counterparts, so I just kind of rolled with it at the end.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and it's that anime thing of like, this is a typical 17-year-old, and it's fucking Jotaro with like 195 centimeters.
Exactly. And also, I'm sorry, go ahead.
As a high schooler myself, I know people like Jotaro. He's actually kind of accurate. It's scary.
Oh gosh, really?
That's hilarious. And
Yeah,
Gaara, also from Naruto.
Oh yeah.
Pettrull, you might be able to attest to this more as well, but like I have been out of high school for like 3 years, maybe 4. Maybe more on the 3 side, doesn't matter. And yeah, these fuckers got tall and huge. Like, what is going on?
Yeah, people are huge. Crazy, man.
Like, I am particularly tall, but like these motherfuckers, like, how are they 15 and they have like so much facial hair and are so tall?
Yeah, I know a dude with like a full beard and he's younger than me. It's scary.
Puberty, man. It's like, there's no in between sometimes.
There's no in between.
Yeah.
I don't know. I haven't had a lot of tough lines yet. And I say yet because we are coming up upon the Bags Grooves fight scene very rapidly, scarily rapidly. And I know that's going to be fun, but also strenuous on my voice because I'm good at making like choking noises and like general noises of injury and distress, or at least I like to think I am. I hope I am. But yeah, that's it. Usagi is going through it that chapter. Those couple of chapters, actually. So that's going to be real tough to voice.
Then I guess for me, the toughest part is just sometimes I would do multiple takes and I'm like, why am I not getting it right? And then I end up getting fatigued over it. I'm not sure if there's like any advice from our more experienced actors, like how to overcome that. But I definitely like I've noticed that whenever I'm voicing Dragona, where I would do a take and I'm like, I don't really like how I sound with this one, and then I do it again and I'm like, why can't I get it right?
It's frustrating.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Just keep
Definitely.
going.
Just keep
Yeah,
going.
it's kind of maybe take a step back, think about like intentions of what like the character is saying at the moment, and do your best to portray that. And at the end of the day, as good as we want to do, again, we're practicing.
It's
All experience.
Yeah. And I guess speaking about voice acting, then our next question is, how long does it take for all the voice acting to finish?
It really varies. We all have like busy lives outside of this. So, God, a couple weeks, maybe. Usually at median, like the range is typically a couple weeks.
Yeah. Like
especially when everybody else finishes there, and then there's just me that hasn't finished kids for like a week or two.
Yeah, that. Yeah. Sometimes we actually would still record even while we're editing, and that's mainly either because, we try to, get the scenes that we have the lines done first, or somebody,
Totally.
records the line wrong in one way and we have to redo it, or we're missing a line and we have to redo that.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Oh, sorry about that. That's typically me.
But I do the same thing too. It's just that I do it while I'm editing, so it's like you don't know it.
And it doesn't just happen with you. A lot of times, we write the script with one version of the manga, and sometimes we record with a different one. So I think what we started doing, right, Carrie, is we'd grab the manga and go checking everything to make sure it's this word instead of this should be that, and that kind of stuff.
Right. Gang, I gotta bounce. I think you guys can handle the rest of it, and I can record the answers for the other questions later on. But thank you guys so much. This has been a blast. But I gotta bounce. All right, I'll chat with you guys later. Peace.
Bye.
Bye. Yeah, next question would be, what is everyone looking most forward to with dubbing the manga? And there's going to be and I guess someone else also asked, what is everybody's kind of favorite thing to voice?
Ooh, I want to go first because I haven't gone first yet. But I kind of answered this already, but I am so looking forward to the Bags Grooves fight where Usagi is just dying. I know it's going to kill my voice, but I'm going to have so much fun doing it. And I hope that you guys will have fun listening to that.
My favorite thing to voice has to be, this general talking as Charming Man. I love Charming Man's voice. It's so much fun.
Yeah, for you, Pettrull, it's only things to look forward to so far.
No, what are you looking forward to?
Yeah. What
do you have a specific one? Yeah.
Me? I think specifically the, so you don't give the lava rock back. That line is gonna be so much fun. It's gonna sound so good. I can't wait.
Oh yeah, we gotta cook some stuff with that editing. I forgot about that.
Definitely.
Yeah, that one's gonna be so much fun.
Yeah. I think for me, the scene that I'm going to be looking most forward to voicing is going to be just the whole land registry arc kind of thing. I feel like there's going to be so much things Dragona's going to do, and so it's going to provide me a lot of opportunity to do things. Favorite thing to voice by far, not in the manga, but the McBama sketch. I feel like that was just so fun to voice, and not only to voice as Dragona, but also kind of hearing how you would re-voice Usagi and Charming Man.
It was so much fun, yeah.
Yeah, and you landed on Barack Obama that.
Landed on Barack Obama. Yeah, that was fun.
For real, yeah. All right, Matt, what are you looking forward to dubbing?
Man, for the longest time, it was the whole scissor thing with so I guess I'll put that as the one that I've most enjoyed doing. I wanted to get to that so bad. As much as I just said that it kills me yelling with, Paco's voice, that the whole fight with Rohan and the whole, Wildcats string thing is so great. And the whole, him yelling and using the hustle. I actually have a thing where, even though I've been in FANDUB communities for so long, going back to all the different spin-offs that there were from the SBR and JOJOLands FANDUB, there was the Part 4, there was a bunch. Part 5, I got to voice quite a few characters. Not great. I didn't do great, but again, experience. But I never got a Stan user ever before. I had come across so many of these opportunities, but I never had the chance. And I really wanted the whole feeling of shouting out a stand name and doing like a cool attack. And finally, that moment was my chance. And, you know, actors be actors. They're always going to think that, I could have done it better, but still it was so gratifying to finally say that. And the moment that I'm looking forward to dubbing, I guess the fight with Charming Man.
That was so fun to like read, honestly.
Yeah.
It was so amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Like it was already so dynamic with the manga. I just imagine we gotta really cook with the editing and voicing to make it even much better.
The editors will try our best.
I think what I'm looking forward to recording the most is the fight with Charming Man. It's just such an exciting scene. Jodio gets some great action there. And, you know, we haven't had Charming Man in the manga proper yet, so that's very exciting. Getting the whole gang together. Favorite parts that I've done so far, definitely the robbery at Rohan's house. I think that it's a fun scene, and you know, Jodio kind of confronting him and having that fun back and forth with him has been really, really cool.
Yeah. Yes. Okay. Next question. Is the voice of Dragona a girl?
Is the voice of Dragona a girl?
We never asked.
Yeah.
You know,
You didn't, you know.
You guys already have all the voices. Are you guys doing any casting for voices? And I think we've answered this question like 2 times with a bunch of people, but no, if I recall, Pettrull was no, not really. We're not really looking at voices at the moment.
We're not right now. Right now, we have enough voices to last us up until the introduction of the port trio, as I call them, the Nemo, Lamb Chabang, and Key West.
Yeah, I think we have. Yeah, like we already have the voices for Charming Man, obviously. We have the voice from Prodigy already. We already have a voice for Akka as well, and then the voices, kind of other voices, like, you know, we're gonna try to see who to voice from our like current cast right now before we can like hold another casting call. I think
when there's a casting call, stay in the SBR JOJOLands FANDUB, because that place has our stuff. So if you go in there and you see our little thing, we're gonna pop up one of these days and we're gonna say, hey, come in, give us your voices. That's your chance.
Also, alternatively, we will mention it on our Twitter account. So follow us on Twitter for updates as well.
Yes, we're plugging. We're plugging right now.
Yeah, we're plugging. We're plugging right now.
I don't know if now is the best moment, but I did want to give a shout out. Dr. O, we miss you, man. You used to voice Rohan. You voiced him in chapter 1. Best wishes, man. Stay safe.
Yeah, we miss Dude. Yeah, but we got River Dude too. Also, too bad River Dude can't join us for the retrospective. It would be super fun. Yeah, hi River Dude. We love you, Rohan. We love you.
Hi River Dude. It's insane that we have River Dude on this. That was one of the most shocking things.
Definitely insane. Okay, next question.
So, wait, can I really quickly make a joke?
Oh yeah.
Next up, we're getting X-Force to voice someone in the FANDUB.
Yeah.
Wait, 1 second. Like, next people to voice in the FANDUB. X-Force. Matheus. Jimmy Con.
Come on, beat. DM us, please.
JoJo Overdrive. The JoJo Overdrive dudes. JoJo DOS. Web. We need the web army in this as well.
Yeah.
I don't know. No, actually, like, in all seriousness, no. Like, you don't have to be famous to be part of the FANDUB. Like, you just have to have the the voice that we need, all seriousness aside.
Yeah, none of us are famous. So it's so wild. Out of nowhere, River just shows up and like, hey, voicing, and we're like, ooh.
Or El Joestar, Nico. Is there any
The musicians that we use.
Well, I'm trying to figure out like how many famous JoJo YouTubers do I like know and watch that I can think of from the top of my head.
I think that would be like a really clever way for us to also grow, you know, and to do little nods to the JoJo community itself.
Yeah,
to be like, hey, look, these.
Yeah, I mean, we have Jonah in chapter 2 for sure. I'm still
We have
really
Jonah.
over the fact Jonah is in there, and Kai, Seth, who was actually one of the people in charge of the JOJOLands Discord server that I'm a part of.
Ooh.
But yeah, it's so cool, guys. Like, we have so much like to look forward to. The next question, which I think I'll answer this in the other retrospective, but like, I don't know if you guys want to re-answer this question. Top 3 artists.
Top 3 artists. Go.
Mike?
Yeah, I am. I think I answered this. But my top 3's got to be Ramones, The Clash, and Led Zeppelin.
Great choice.
I love classic rock, and I love classic punk.
Well, we agree.
And I really need a Ramones song as a stand name. I really hope they choose like something ridiculous if they do include a Ramones song.
I could see that.
So, who knows?
Sheesh, that's hard. Elvis, Prince, and Black Sabbath.
Yeah.
Ooh, that's amazing. Like, Elvis? Really? No wonder why you like Toru so much.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Mm-hmm.
The favorite artist stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't understand what you guys were saying. Like, is that
top 3 artists.
Why are we not?
Oh yeah, Matt. I don't think Matt answered this one, so Matt can answer this one too. What are your top 3 artists?
Musicians.
Yeah.
Not necessarily in this order. Also, I'm terrible at picking favorite stuff. This is what I can remember that I really like. Tyler, the Creator, is great.
Yeah.
A fake fan over here never really figured out how to say the name Gorillaz.
Yeah, Gorillaz.
Yeah, it's okay because it says D at the end, and I never could figure it out if it was mute for some reason or silent. I mean, anyway. And AJR is pretty great.
Ooh.
Mm-hmm. All right, next question.
Is if there are characters of non-American or non-Hawaiian ethnicity, would you give them accents? Not really. It's mostly we don't have the resources to guarantee that a person performing an accent is like performing authentically and respectively. I mean, with Charming, we have a British accent, but like the reason for the British accent isn't necessarily because we think he's British. It's because we think he's trying to portray himself in a more likable way and think the British accent is the way to go. Like maybe a background character or a minor character would have like an accent, but like I will say though that we've actually had characters speak their native languages instead. Paco being a really good example of this. You can hear him like speak Spanish in the background. In the airport scene, we've had like background characters speak different languages, not just Spanish, but like I think Korean and like Japanese. And Rohan in chapter 4 actually spoke a bit of Japanese too. And so for Lam Shebang, I was like thinking maybe she would say like a phrase in Thai. Idea of like having like more significant characters have like an accent would be super great on the long run, especially because not all people who have like non-European names have non-European accents. There are people who have like names that sound ethnic, but doesn't necessarily mean they also sound ethnic. Case in point, me. I have a very ethnic name, and yet I don't have an accent that's related to my ethnicity.
That being said, some people do say that I have kind of an accent. I don't really, hear it much, or maybe it's very weak.
I'll be honest, I actually didn't know that you weren't American until you like hinted it at me. Like I thought like, okay, maybe this is like some dude like somewhere in the US and it's probably a regional accent that I don't recognize too much of, but and then you were like, I'm from Brazil.
Wait,
And I'm
really?
like, yeah.
I've had someone who's American tell me, it's like, oh, the kind of accent that you have is, if someone were to hear you talking, they wouldn't be able to pin you down to even like a specific place in the US.
Mhm.
So it's kind of like diverse. And I was like, oh, okay, great. That works out perfectly for me.
I
Yeah.
actually have a little bit about this, just a small
Mhm.
thing. We don't want to do very many accents that are very particular to a person's like race because it doesn't happen in JoJo's. Like speaking on this, like not a lot of characters, like Polnareff, for example, he doesn't like. While some people may give him a thick French accent, he doesn't have one, and I feel that it would be a little odd to do it very often. We may do it for minor characters or smaller characters for different parts, but generally we are going to keep the same accent just because it's what JoJo does,
Yeah.
and for other reasons.
Yeah, like look at part 5. They mostly like I don't think they really do accents, right? They just kind of include Italian words a lot of the time.
Yeah.
And that's kind of exactly what we're doing.
Yeah, and also at the end of the day, it's kind of like when we get to that like situation, we will kind of make our decision. Like if the voice actor who's playing the character is like, "Hey, I think having this accent would be good, and we think that it's a good idea, then we use it." One more question, for the crew: does this project make you think of branching into more voice work in the future?
Yeah, for me, the aforementioned Russell Run that Pettrull and I made together, I think that is something I would like to continue doing. Not necessarily acting, but kind of like directing. That's something I'm definitely interested in doing, and this has definitely kind of opened my eyes as to kind of how that would look like in like a professional sense.
I've already stated this, but yes, 110%. This has been my calling to want to go out and actually do this for real and bring and actually be a voice actor. I probably won't do it exactly, but yeah, it's as like a passion. Yes, 100%. Yeah, yes, 100%.
Yeah, I absolutely have to agree, and it's kind of the same thing. Oh my god, I just totally blanked. Sorry, give me a second. Right, so, same for me. Like, it's such a dream of mine, because I before I didn't know what I really wanted to do with my life, and then I started seeing all the FANDUB stuff, and I was like, oh man, voice acting, that's really awesome, that's really fun, and I would get to work with the stuff that I really like, hopefully, right? But my absolute dream is to like voice the same character, whether it's in a video game or on a movie or anime. If I get to voice them like in English and in Portuguese, like in Brazilian Portuguese, that would be like just so cool. I really want to see if I can do that professionally in both of these languages that I have a good proficiency with, and I really hope that it works out.
Yes, for me, like, I mean, acting itself is not really a career that I've been in. I don't really see myself going into a career of being an actor. But in terms of doing this type of stuff, I do enjoy it as like a new hobby right now. And maybe, if I do find like something that I can do with it, like just for fun, I would pursue it. But yeah, it's just really amazing how like it's like fandom work has inspired people to actually pursue these as like careers and like do even more with it. And I think it's really amazing.
At the same time, it's really scary because more than ever, it's very difficult to get into the industry as a new person, especially with AI and all this shitty stuff. Assumedly cool, Like,
Mhm.
technology is awesome, but we should be using it as a tool to service us, not to replace us, especially not art.
Definitely, for sure.
Yes, 100%.
Yeah.
With that, I think it's time for our final words.
But I don't know if I should say my final words for the other retrospective, or if I should do final words.
I mean, these are different final words. They're
Yeah. I guess my final word to you, I guess to the crew or the cast would be, I love you all. You guys have really impacted my life in so many positive ways that I never thought would happen. And here's to 10 plus more years of working on this.
Here's to 10 plus years.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I hope so. I hope that it's something that we're able to keep going into, even if it's kind of as a hobby or if it's just to practice more.
Yeah.
Though imagine how fun, like, those of us who want to pursue it as a career end up becoming successful, and we still do this for free online.
Ideally that would be the case. Like, imagine 10 plus years down the line, like, we have families and kids, and we just say our final lines, and it's like, okay, now what?
I guess, I don't know if I guess JoJo is usually pretty long, but I don't think it lasts 10 years. Do you guys think so?
Well, it's because of how long it takes for us to make a chapter, you know?
That's true.
Yeah.
Oh, no. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, and they're like combining two chapters is our way to make it slightly faster, but still.
Mm-hmm. Right. Well, yeah, I also appreciate you guys so much. I think it's such an insane butterfly effect of Pettrull just being like, yeah, let me go do this. And now we just all know each other and are great friends. And it's truly awesome. And it's so cool. And it's so insane to think that a little show, a little anime was kind of the trigger for all of this. And for us to get to know each other and grow and gain new interests and have fun. And get excited for upcoming videos stuff. Nailed it.
Mm-hmm.
I want to thank you guys, my incredible team, for all your hard work and making this such an amazing project. And I want to thank all of our viewers for tuning in and enjoying what we put out. There's a lot more to come, and we look forward to putting out the best quality stuff for you guys.
Yeah, just as a closing remark, thank you guys for letting me be Usagi. It's very exciting to get to voice a character that I like so much. He's truly he's a devious little guy. He's a devious little critter. And I can't wait to see what happens to him as JOJOLands progresses. And I can't wait to see how, I wonder how much we're going to, change within the next, 10 years. God, that's crazy to think about. And thank you to the viewers for watching us and letting us get this far. Because we certainly wouldn't be here without you. So, thank you for that.
Yeah.
And now it is my turn. I will finish this off here. I would first like to just thank all of you for all that you've done. I may have been the idea guy, the guy who originally came up with it, but I couldn't have done this without Mike encouraging me to do it, Matt's help, Carrie, Ree, everyone, every single person who has helped me out on this journey and made this project fully realized. It's insane to think that this is actually going to happen. That for possibly 10 whole years, maybe even longer, I'm going to be putting something into the world like this with the help of all of you, and it's awesome. And I'd also like to look at the fans and say thank you. Thank you for coming back time and time again for our silly little skits and our little memes, our comic dubs, but then for also our big moments, the big FANDUB chapters when they come out, lining up to come and see us. I didn't even believe we'd make it past 300 subscribers, let alone, what are we at, 1,500?
Let me actually check real quick. I think
Crazy, by the way, how quickly we grew. Like, it's actually insane.
Oh my god, yes.
We are at 1.56K subscribers.
Yeah, 1,560 people.
Give or take some change and whatnot. For some reason, YouTube stops counting like the last digit.
Yeah.
Once we reach a certain point. But like, this is just, it's just amazing because like, I thought, okay, maybe we'll get a couple hundred and it'll just plateau. And then suddenly we're just growing and growing and growing. And I'm like, how is this possible?
Honestly, just an encouragement to all y'all one more time. Find that niche. Because I guess what we did is we found a niche. We found that one thing that people want to see that isn't there yet. And we made it. We made it happen, and it's great.
Say a round of applause to all of you guys then. Yeah. Good job, everyone. Yeah. See you guys all in chapter 5.
See you all in chapter 5. Get ready. Things are about to go down.
Yep.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
Arrivederci. Aloha.
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 What they said.